Welcome back, everybody, to the North American Strikers League playoffs, where we are about to kick off our very first match of the bracket. We've got the S.A.D.B.O.I.S taking on Bunn Bunn Bonanza, and the map picks and bans have already come on through down below us. My name's Gordo. I'm joined by Dendar on the first block of casts today. Dendar, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, but I'm a little concerned about the Bunn Bunn Bonanza because they are facing a Titan in this first game. However, Season 3, we did see them face off against Demons Raw in the first round, and they succeeded over them. So we'll have to see if they can defeat this Titan as well. Following up that game, however, we'll be following it up with a bang. Two, you could even say, because we're going to have the Bang Bang versus Demons Raw. So we'll have to see how those pan out. But, Gordo, how are you feeling about this first game that it looks like we're getting straight into?
I'm excited for this one. I mean, the predictions already looking like they're starting to heavily favor the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. You can't really blame them for that. This is the greatest of all-time North American Strikers League team. They are coming in for the three-peat. A lot of hype coming up behind these guys, but definitely a bit of room for the Bunn Bunn Bonanza squad to be able to find the upset here. They have definitely put together some really good matches over the course of this season. I think this team's been growing together over the course of the last two splits. Really excited for Scyther coming in off of his first all-team, all-pro win here. And that's going to be very exciting here as he's joined by two other members of the first team in the S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
Absolutely, but looks like we're going to be taking a look at these picks and bans already as we've gotten into this. I didn't get to see the full draft, however, we do see ourselves on Taiko Temple here, a map that I'm a big fan of. And we're going to see the Era X composition with Kai as the goalie for the side of the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, a very powerful composition with that X-Era scaling, and then you already lose, making a masterwork of anything they play. However, on the other side, we're going to have a little bit of a different pickup here. We've got the Imi Drakkar Vice, Drakkar Brawler, something we've been seeing a bit more from Scyther 12 and from the series in general, with Liari on that Imi, very powerful midfielder on this map, especially if you can get something like extra special to make those sentry turrets really difficult to deal with. And then finally, Lilybut on the Vice. We've seen them time and time again be able to walk up on the offense, even though they are the goalie, and make everything happen. So we'll have to see if having that extra teleportation with that eject button is going to work out for them. But taking a look at the starting awakenings as well, we have Bells on the Vicious Vambrace. Is an interesting pick here, but one where you have to fight in this pocket against a Vice is, I think, going to be quite nice. So we're just going to have to see how that works out, but the net's already open.
Yeah, nice little maneuver from Bells there up by the top to be able to get that second barrier, find his way in to open up the goal. Liari, though, some nice core control coming through. She's going to be able to take her own of those barriers, but Bells able to find the shot in up against Lilybut. Lily not quite able to fend that one off at the first point. We'll go over to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
Let's take a look at these starting awakenings here as we've got the stagger build going across the board, everybody on peak performance. We already talked about how that X and the Era are going to scale quite well. They've already got one piece of that puzzle, but to contest the Ember Monarchs here, we've actually got Scyther on the Pummelers, but without those Pummeler kills coming out, with this net being open this early, we're going to have to find a new way to make value from that.
Absolutely here. There's going to be the pass down. Bell's actually taking a little bit of control there. Flip comes out of You Already Lose right to Vaughn. Liari able to fend off one shot, but not two. Bells follows it up and will be able to score a second. The S.A.D.B.O.I.S taking an early lead here in set number one.
Very strong start from a very strong team. We've got Vaughn with the flip available, but the energy's pretty low from the other two players. We'll have to see if they can finally get some abuse on there, maybe get some Pummelers kills, maybe get some eject button action to find some kills. But there we see Scyther 12 getting a quick kill on the goalie, getting very good value here, as now they have this flip and a power play in their hands.
Absolutely here. Wow, lots of damage coming on across there. So You Already Lose going to end up coming through the respawn. Bell's already very low on the stagger. Scyther trying to finishing him off, but taking a fair bit of damage on the other side. Will be able to get the KO here as Bunn Bunn tries to find their footing in this first set. Emotes coming on out. There's going to be 5 seconds to go on that respawn. Will they be able to take this barrier? Yes, they will. A nice shot from Liari into the cyber swipe. Scyther with a scoring opportunity, but it gets blocked away by Vaughn. They will be able to hold on for the time being. The S.A.D.B.O.I.S looking to complete the sweep. A nice lock and load from Scyther, though, will take it right out of the hands of You Already Lose and put Bunn Bunn on the board.
With that shotgun, they have secured not a 3-0 sweep in this first round, but they've still got a little bit of a ways to go if they want to make this reversal. That said, I do like what I'm seeing so far, but perhaps one thing I'd like to see a little bit more of is some core control off of that center drum. There we see Scyther go for a cheeky double barrier attempt with a good angle, but it is stuffed out. That said, I think a big part of this map is awareness, aware of your surroundings. I know that's a big thing on a lot of maps, things like Atlas's, the black hole on Atlas's lab, rather, can be something that you can play around quite well, but here I think these drums really are something that you have to be careful with, regardless of which side you are on, the offense or the defense. But with that defensive flip, it's a lot of back and forth here, Gordo.
Absolutely is. There's some really great defense coming out of both of the goalies over these last couple of volleys. You already lose fending off some near impossible plays with the Supernova, but Lily Bunn doing much the same on the other side. Finally going to be able to slip one through with the power cord to be able to take that second barrier, and there's going to be one from Liari as well. Scyther pushing it through, and it's 2-2. We're going to 0.5 on set number 1.
Ooh, a long game coming to us. You would think that with this map being arguably the polar opposite of Oni Village, where we see some of the longest games on that map, this one, sometimes the games are so short it happens in the blink of an eye. Here, because there's so much back and forth and these players are so talented and fighting for their spot in these playoffs to survive, there's so much more you have to think about and contend against, and it makes it so difficult to find any leverage against these players. That said, both sides are making good use of what they have available, but I think if the rounds are already going this long, should the round count follow in suit, the scaling from the side of S.A.D.B.O.I.S might be danger.
Absolutely here, and this is why it's so important to be able to take some of these early sets. Liari continuing to keep it pushed out there with the Cyber Sentry, now trying to get it up to Scyther, but Bell's going to be able to interrupt that with the Bell Ringer. Scyther falling up towards the top, going to be able to avoid that stun, and now coming on through, there's the dash from Bells, and he will push it through. 3-2 on the scoreboard. The S.A.D.B.O.I.S take set number 1.
The Bull Rush scores the point, but the S.A.D.B.O.I.S seem to be in no rush to end this game quickly. They look quite comfortable here. As now we take a look at this Awakening draft. A lot of good options here. The missile propulsion going to be taken away. A good deny from the Jakar, and also just a good pick for the Kai goalie, giving them a little bit of extra range on those Giga Blasts, and perhaps some cheeky kills off the side where a lot of times you do have to play. That said, Scyther doubling down on this Pummeler's exchange, going for the prize fighter here, giving them a little bit more power, and in these pockets it's going to be a little bit more damage. Some stagger going over to the side of Liari. That's going to go quite well with the peak performance they already had. Looking at the rest of Lily Bunn, getting a little bit more speed, always good as a goalie. Bells getting the unstoppable, I think is X. It's actually a quite nice pickup here, because there's a lot of times where you have some windup and you have to prepare these setups to get these scoring opportunities, and giving yourself a get-out-of-jail-free card can be quite nice, just as Liari seems to get one with a little bit of plot armor there. That dash punch not connecting, but that Thunderstruck will, but it's actually Jakar who goes down in this exchange.
Yeah, so going to be without Scyther now for the next couple of seconds, and Bell's looking to capitalize. Bull rush forward, has the follow-up from Vaughn with the Bewitching Beam, and they will be able to take that second barrier. We'll get the respawn across now. It's back to the full 3-on-3, but now going to be Bunn Bunn Bonanza on the back foot. Bell's trying to take control on the other side, going to get hit by that power cord. There's the flip from Liari off the drum, trying to bounce it up towards that barrier. Still won't be able to find it. The rebound's coming through from Scyther, though, as Liari keeps following on up with the cyber swipes. Another power cord comes on across, pushes away Bells, trying to keep him from taking control over the core and trying to close out the game. There's going to be another Supernova pushing him further away, and still not able to get themselves into the goal. Scyther taking back control, going to be able to find a nice lock and load angle to be able to take that second barrier, and the shot from the Xeno Cloak will put it on through and put Bunn Bunn Bonanza on the board in set number 2.
That extra power from the Xeno Cloak in overtime, giving you that red core, is very reminiscent of Kazan's closed poke when he has that closed form as the goalie. So we'll have to see if that is something that comes up more often. But right now the punches are coming up from Bells, looking for potentially a KO or a goal here. It's just so suffocating. The round barely started, and a point already goes to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, evening things up 1-1, but they've still got that set lead. So there's a bit of a mountain to climb here for Bunn Bunn Bonanza, but not one they haven't overcome in the past.
Yeah, really tough there to be able to keep up that defense, even with 2 members in the goal arc, still not able to fend off that repeated shot coming on across. There's going to be another cyber swipe from Liari, trying to keep that control. Glitch Pop going to do a little bit of work there as well. It's still not able to get its way on towards the barriers. Bell's going to snag away from that passing play, but the flip out of Lily will be able to keep that space that they need and give them more opportunities with both of those barriers still standing. Thunderstruck comes on across, probably not going to fall that one through. A flip out of You Already Lose, fended back away from Lily Bunn and getting the possession back into Liari. Liari Lu's doing a good job of keeping up this defense, though. Scyther kind of stuck on the wrong end, trying to get himself out of there, but forced to blow the energy burst to avoid going on down. Now very low on stagger, but still able to reset and restart. There's going to be Liari trying to pass it on through. Vaughn going to be able to stuff it right off the back of that core flip and keep the offense rolling. They still have yet to be able to get onto a barrier, though, and it will be a nice shot from Scyther to be able to take that one. Now with a scoring opportunity to lock and load. Scyther takes a second one, and Bunn Bunn Bonanza take the lead in set 2.
Scyther looking locked and loaded into this game. Very good scoring attempts by them so far, and many successes in their hand. That said, it looks like it's a KO that's going to happen, but it's to the Vice goalie who's going to go down. That eject button can be a blessing and a curse there, as you put yourself in these dangerous positions to try to make offense happen for your team, but you can be horribly punished in the process, and here we see both barriers go down as penance.
Yeah, the timing just a little bit off there. Liari's glitch pop actually sending it back up into the barrier. Just wasn't able to travel far enough in time, but the respawn from Lilybun is here. Now an open goal, but one that they can defend for a bit. Never mind, as that Giga Blast going to stun up Lilybun and let the core sail on through.
I love that angle that we just saw from Vaughn there off the center drum to get that point. Normally, when I see the Vampire era, my first thought is, oh, it's B.O.I.S, but no, that is Vaughn here on the stage in this midfield position as shown by their MVP Valet. That said, right now we're going to need to see some MVP midfielding, as it is a disaster on the defense. There's so much that you have to deal with, but they managed to make it through just fine, only losing one barrier, attempting to score one of their own. But Scyther's looking quite low here. Perhaps the next thing that could be scored is the body of that player.
Very possible here. He has been good at keeping himself safe on these low stagger counts while he waits behind enemy lines looking for some of these barriers, but the offense is chugging along for BOIS on the other side. Not going to be able to take a barrier off of it, but got a couple of shots on towards Lilybun off of it. There's going to be B.O.I.S taking back control again, not able to find those barriers, and will go back into the hands of Liari. B.O.I.S with another opportunity here, but it sails on past him. Now a chance for Scyther and Liari to reset and go for it again. The flip comes out of Liari. There's going to be the swing coming on through from B.O.I.S, but not able to find its way onto the core. Scyther coming in for an attack off the top side. There's going to be Lilybun in with the Supernova, stuns up the S.A.D.B.O.I.S members and lets them take that second barrier. B.O.I.S going to find one on the other side. Gets sent on down towards Liari. Lilybun trying to keep up with the barrier, but it will end up falling down. Now shots from B.O.I.S, not able to find its way onto the goal, but not done yet. Billy sends it back over to Scyther, trying to give an opportunity to take advantage of the open goal that they achieved earlier, but Liari lets it sail away, and look at that maelstrom from Vaughn. Calls out the core, splits away the goalie, and takes a second set for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
The prophet has arisen. The maelstrom from downtown 3 years in the past has come to realization and given them this goal. I saw it bouncing around. B.O.I.S had some excellent dribbles and maintaining of possession, but then finally it made its way around the world and into the hands of that tornado. That is a tough spot for Bunn Bunn Bonanza, but this draft looking a bit back and forth here, as this extra special is going to be quite nice for You Already Lose, but another stagger piece goes into the hands of Liari. That's going to be scary to contest that. This Monumentalist from Vaughn, we've already seen how good the tornadoes are. We literally just saw it, and now they're going to be even more terrifying. Picking up the rest of the draft, we've got the Deadeye onto Lilybun. They got KO'd last for their eject button. Perhaps now they will be using that eject button to get some KOs. Very strong pickup on that character. And then finally, the one that I really want to note here is this quick strike onto Scyther.
Oh.
Very strong player, but they're going to need some very strong strikes to get past this defense and even up this barrier count.
Yeah, really nice stuff there. Look at that damage onto Vaughn, though. Sent flying around from the drums, but still able to hold on to his life for now. And now, with a shot on goal, does get funded away from Lilybun, and there will be Scyther going to be able to get them into the goal and find the power play for the squad. They take the second barrier. No, they don't. It looked like it was there, but it was You Already Lose fending it back away, I believe, with the Giga Blast. There's going to be Scyther able to find it at the end of the day anyway. Another Supernova out of Lilybun, but there's that big Maelstrom out of Vaughn, already making big plays with that one this game. And B.O.I.S with a scoring opportunity takes the KO, but it gets saved in the nick of time by Lilybun. But is it just going to be delaying the inevitable here? The power play for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, a scoring opportunity. B.O.I.S can't get out of the core again. Another glitch pop fends it away, holding on for as long as possible, but B.O.I.S will take it at the end of the day.
A martyrdom save as they try their hardest to defend that. But at the end of the day, B.O.I.S, the brawler, gets it done. One thing I want to note, though, there, is I saw an interesting setup on the defense in that power play situation where Scyther actually went back to the goalie position, recognizing that that lock and load is quite good against brawlers, just as it is good against goalies. But now that things are pretty quick this game, we'll have to see whether or not this is going to keep up or whether they're going to be able to defend this last barrier.
Now it's going to be the challenge here. Bunn Bunn has gone to full 5 for both of the sets thus far, but haven't been able to take one. Another big Maelstrom just takes Scyther right off the map, and this power play for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S could put them on game point. Fended back away by Liari for now. Lilybun trying to come out of here with that Thunderstruck. Will be Scyther back on the respawn, trying to take it down towards the bottom of the map. Vaughn still keeping it on the aggressive side, though, and Bells resetting off the bottom, looking for a chance to be able to take the barrier, will be able to do so. Vaughn just waiting in the wings at midfield, able to put it back into Bells' hands. Liari comes back on out, giving it over to Scyther. Flip will be fending it back on over, and there's Lilybun caught on the wrong side. Vaughn puts it on the other side of the Supernova and sends it home, 1 point away before the S.A.D.B.O.I.S take game 1 of the playoff.
Super tough spot there. That minimum cast time on the Vice ult now really showing its fangs there as it leads to an own goal, but it was a tough spot regardless. One thing I want to mention, though, is that regardless of how many power plays keep happening, these players on the defense just manage to survive time and time again. It really just goes to show how good these players are and why they're on this stage where even in a down position, they can make miracles happen, even if it costs them a life or two. But that said, the life of Scyther is almost taken by that Maelstrom, but this barrier is what's going to be taken instead.
Bells with the breakaway here, looking to close out game number 1 for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Sending it back over to Scyther. Scyther going to be able to take it into the barrier. Bells with another chance, though. Vaughn taking it up and away from the Supernova. Intelligent play there, but they will be able to find the second barrier on the reset. Coming back on across, Bells going to pop the Maximus, with the cores being kept away from him. Not for long, though. Bells will send it up to the top corner, take a 3-0 set after back-to-back 5-round sets, and take S.A.D.B.O.I.S the first win, 3-0.
You know, we didn't make a mention of that explosive entrance that was picked up by Bells, because typically Dash Awakenings aren't the strongest thing on that character, but there, it was almost a goal attempt, so perhaps things like that in the future we'll have to take a look out for. Let's take a look at these stats, however, as high redirect count, both Bells and Scyther, both brawlers matching each other with exactly 100 redirects. However, the rest of the lobby kind of following in suit here, as the midfielders both around 140-ish, 142, 146, and then finally the goalies, Lilybun with a little bit less redirects, but with those barrages from Kai, you do tend to get more with the multi-hit facet of that ability. That said, a 3-0 game, but definitely some close back and forth, but I think overall this composition that really scaled into this game just showed how powerful it can be and how X-Era is still very prominent in this game, even if it isn't the go-to meta.
Absolutely is, and what a win there for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Comes up 3-0, was a little bit closer than the end scoreline will show. 2 different 5-round sets coming on through in the first and second sets, but it's the S.A.D.B.O.I.S who come up time and time again, and they are looking calm, cool, and collected here as they start off their playoffs run, looking very strong here, as they often do once it starts to get to be this postseason. Just firing on all cylinders here. Really great stuff out of all 3 members.
Excellent performance, but there is always that lore of the Bunn Bunn power-up where they will be scaling, maybe not in that first game with all those Stagger Awakenings, but in this series, I could easily see them bringing this back, as there are players of the caliber who could easily do it. That said, S.A.D.B.O.I.S looking quite good there, like you said, and looking quite comfortable. We'll have to see if on this next map of Demon Dais, one where I've seen Bunn Bunn be quite successful, we'll have to see whether or not S.A.D.B.O.I.S can make the most of the composition that they pick, or whether or not this is going to be a little bit more home turf for Bunn Bunn. We'll just have to see, but it is Boi's pick, funny enough.
Yeah, it is. So back to Demon Days here for the teams in game number 2. And the side swap coming on through here as well. So we'll see what the draft is going to look like as soon as they're able to get it started. I do have a little bit of some concern for Bunn Bunn, like you said, given that they lost on their own pick in round number 1, but they should be able to come back from this if they're able to re-steady themselves. Again, they had some really good looks in that first game. I think Scyther on the Drakkar looked quite good. I've been really impressed with him as he expands his character pool over the course of Season 4 thus far. Let's see if he's going to bust out anything else new, go back to some old favorites. I still think that Rasmus from him can be super, super dangerous. Could be something that we end up seeing here in game 2.
I'm a
Nope,
big fan of
stolen
the
away by BOIS, though.
Oh, it is stolen away. That said, I feel like on Demon Dais, if you see Erasmus, it's typically as the goalie. We saw a player like Fretfully Fresh pilot that character's success many a time. That said, taking a look at the rest of this draft, there is a lot of damage coming out. I do believe this is going to be the Rasmus goalie with the Zentaro forward. That said, we see potentially the same comp come up. We've got this Vice pickup and the Drakkar. We'll have to see what else is available to us here for this pick 5. That said, I do think the Drakkar can be quite good on this map, and we've seen it before. We'll just have to see if it keeps up here as we wait for this pick 5 and 6. That said, Glass Cannon and Rapid Fire. If Rapid Fire is a ton of damage, Glass Cannon is supposed to be the you need to survive, but I don't think you really have the room to survive on this map, nor the time. Perhaps something like Rasmus Goalie, who's going to be able to clear through those characters, will be able to make the most of it. But with a now on the table now for the side of Bunn Bunn Bonanza, I think it's a very strong pick here, and one that can use Rapid Fire quite well. We'll have to see how this works out. But either way, there's going to be a ton of damage, Gordo.
Absolutely, and at range as well. I think Liari and Scyther could be a real dangerous duo here on the Drakkar now. Coming into this game number 2, an Atlas pick in the last moment here from the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Surely that's in the goal, right? So, I mean, that's going to make this Rasmus probably in the midfield for Vaughn.
An interesting situation. I do think that there's a lot of good potential for this character on this map. I used to play a lot of Rasmus, and when I was on this map, I noticed that there's a lot of times where you can send the hook through the lock to try to catch the other side, leaving it almost as a creation more so than as a projectile. So that can lock down some good space here. Perhaps if we see something like a Monumentalist or a Siege Machine to keep that space locked down even further, we could see some sequences like that. But I think realistically here, this is almost like a double brawler setup, similar to how we would see with things like the X and Zentaro or the X and Juliet or the Zentaro Juliet on Night Market. I think we may be seeing something very similar here, but with Rasmus having that little bit of extra utility to help make up for when the barriers are down and give the goalie a little bit more breathing room where without a midfield, otherwise you would not have it.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of knowers in the chat saying that it's Atlas midfield down here. So let's see if that is where this pick is going to end up showing itself. Definitely an interesting option, if so. Regardless, I mean, whoever they end up sending these, we're going to get to see something unexpected here regardless in that Atlas that you just don't really see that much these days. But S.A.D.B.O.I.S busting it out here. Vaughn famously says draft doesn't matter. Let's wait and see if that's going to be the case here.
We'll definitely have to wait and see. That's it. That Finny ban, you know, I didn't make a note of it, but I'm definitely not surprised given the nature of Bunn Bunn Bonanza and what characters they are comfortable on. That said, we have seen on the previous map we had Taiko Temple. I've seen things like Atlas midfield there before, but it's actually going to be the Atlas midfield with the, not the momentum boots, but it's actually the magnetized souls. I haven't seen it in so long, I forgot what that awakening was called, but it is going to be a 6 rapid fire start here. So I think we're going to have an exciting game if we're seeing the Atlas midfield come out.
Absolutely. Let's see how this pick is going to work out for Vaughn here. A bold selection while up 1-0 here in their first playoffs match from the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. See how it ends up working out. There's going to be a nice use of the astral projection already to knock Liari away and stop any offense from really being able to manifest itself. Bell's already up in their face, taking the first barrier. Going to look for the second one. There's going to be that Oni's Blade getting plenty of damage on a cross. Nearly being able to take that second barrier. Will go past up. Back to Vaughn as Liari trying to reset and use the drones to get a little bit of offense going for her side. Scyther waiting around for it on the other side. Still stuck at that level 1. Worth calling out, not having access to the special yet. We'll be able to get that one before too long, but they do manage to take themselves the second barrier. Nice flip from Bell's. Going to be able to find that KO. Create a power play for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Already a flip available for Vaughn as well. Going to be able to immune their way through the Supernova. Still not able to push it through for the goal, but Astral Projection will take it there. And it's the first point to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
There's 2 things I want to take note of with this Atlas pick now that I've had a bit more time to digest it. One, the healing factor from that ultimate, while it's not as consistent as Now's healing, will certainly play a point in this game. A lot of the time that Now healing does have to get used to stuff the core, stuff through players with those mines. So perhaps having the more reliable, oh, we're about to have somebody die, just like this. Bell's was looking quite dangerous. But there, they can't get the full value because they were not actually KO'd. Good restraint there by Scyther, recognizing that the Atlas ultimate was out. The other thing, the dash punch combo of the expanse into the projection actually knocks you back quite far. So if you're not careful around these ledges, or Vaughn gets some certain awakenings, it could be quite scary. And with how midfielders sometimes have to play, either behind the lock or in this midfield waiting for an opportunity, I think this Magnetized Souls could be quite good for this character, who otherwise would be quite slow.
Very possible here. Bell's taking a fair bit of abuse there as he tries to get his way in on towards the barriers. Will be sectioned away, but able to take it anyway. Now setting up for the score, nearly finding it with the rush, but not able to take it all the way home. The slashing strike getting a lot of value there, though, as Liari, finding herself lower and lower, will be able to get out with the lifeline, and a shot down to the bottom from Bells will be S.A.D.B.O.I.S moving up 2-0, and they're just getting stronger and stronger as this series goes on, Dendar.
You know, they say that typically characters like Atlas are this fortress, this brick wall that you have to get through, but he's looking more like Howl's moving castle the way he is flying around. These castle walls are not for defense, they are for pure offense and adrenaline. As we see here, the now goes down already. Liari, quite low on health, going to have to take some time away, but it's actually gone with the flip who goes down, and Bells is looking like they might be on the way next. That said, they do secure that kill, making this a 2v2 reversal of the power play situation, but for how long will it last unless Bells can get both barriers?
God, Bells. He's just crushing it right now. What a smooth KO that was earlier. He takes it all the way home with the slice and dice. Bells with a highlight round there takes it and moves 3-0 in the set for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They take a lead.
Taking the lead here in a dominant fashion. When you have that 2v2 situation and Bells is just running a train, it's just so difficult to say, well, now that they have some time to scale and get some awakenings here, what are you going to do against them? Well, they do get something a little bit less impact, perhaps something like a heavy impact or an explosive entrance would have been scarier. This bulk up certainly still damage and some health to keep them alive, so it's going to be even more of an uphill battle for you to fight. Leaving the draft open there, we see Lilybun take a later pick to secure that Liari gets something good here. We see the Quake Strikes, and we see the Stagger going to Lilybun as well. Scyther getting a very late missile propulsion. That's going to be a great pickup for them. And finally, You Already Lose getting that Adrenaline Rush. I think that's actually a pretty strong pick here, because realistically, Rasmus may not be the best at dealing damage, but he can certainly secure kills quite easily with those hooks and combination of abilities. As there, we do see Scyther go down already. We didn't get the Adrenaline Rush value, but even still, we do have that offense coming to life here as Liari's looking a little bit next, as Bells going for the kill rather than the barrier happens to work out as they get it regardless.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and now Bells looking to take it all the way home for the goal. Not quite going to be able to find it yet, but the resets are so strong here. Liari just trying to fend these back away. Lilybun dribbles it off the bottom, will be able to send it back down to Scyther, but it's already reset. It's already Bells back in, looking for more scoring angles. Not going to be able to find it there. Supernova to try to clear some members back out, but no matter what they do, they just can't get this core cleared. Look at the Oni's blade. The ricochet sends it home, and Bells is popping off in these last couple of rounds on this Entaro.
Lilybun almost having a last-second save there, but the bounce was just too much and sends it into the goal. So much damage has been coming out here. Even though the barriers get taken, Liari's already at low health. I mean, now has a low base health, or low base stagger rather, so it is somewhat understandable, and the orbs can be quite difficult to get to at times given how far out of the play you have to take yourself. So it's understandable why there's so much damage coming out to them. But at the same time, Scyther is also quite low, and they're the team with the Vice, the damage queen.
Nice.
But right now, with both barriers down, the net's open, Flip has to get burned.
Yeah, finally going to be able to clear one out. They take the second barrier, they open up the goal, and this is the first sign of life we've seen from Bunn Bunn in a while. Scyther trying to break it away with the Xeno Cloak, not able to quite collapse his way on through. Nearly going to get taken down. Bells finishes the job with the slashing strike, and it's a power play to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, and just like that, could be a chance for them to keep on trucking with these goals. Taking an open goal here. There's going to be the flip out of Vaughn and a chance to close it out. Not going to be able to find it with the Astral Projection, but they will be able to find another KO and another score, collapsing alongside Bells.
Bells, level 6 in this lobby of level 3s and 4s, showing just how much they have brought to the table here. We saw them on Zentaro earlier in this season. It seemed like they were getting their bearings on this character and doing quite well even still. But now it seems like they have a mastery of this character, and they're really just showing how strong they can be on it. That said, Scyther needs to stay strong or they're going to fall just like that. Another KO, 6 streak going to Bells. The barrier going as well. It's looking tough here for the side of Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
Opportunities are running out here to be able to stay alive in this first series in the upper bracket. Going to be a lot of damage coming on across. They finally are able to find a barrier. Their goal's already opened up, though. They can't let this slip for even a moment, or it could just be ended. There's going to be You Already Lose finding the hook, finding another KO, creating a power play, and all 3 members collapse towards the goal. The flip coming through out of Bells, passed on up. Another flip from You Already Lose, and there's the set to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S 3-0.
Another 3-0 set. And quite a lead that they have for themselves. This is the last draft you potentially have if you're Bunn Bunn Bonanza. You need something strong here, and you need a turnabout in this game to keep yourself afloat. That said, let's take a look at what we have available. This explosive entrance is not taken. It's actually the 1-2 punch, opting for more damage that they already had quite a lot of. I guess they're looking less for those scoring opportunities and more to secure those kills and put themselves in a dominant power play lead and then collapsing on the goal after that. So I don't dislike that choice. That said, the prime time with the rapid fire is going to be quite difficult to deal with. That's going to be a fair amount of damage in their own regard, and with that reverberation, that's going to be a lot of primaries coming out. We are getting some stagger to keep themselves afloat. You Already Lose, denying the other one, recognizing that it is a way for the enemy team to keep themselves afloat in the situation, takes it and gets the reptile remedy. That said, Stinger on Atlas, an awakening that has been nerfed several times, used to be a terror, is now being used to terrorize Scyther 12 here, as they are quite low, but they do manage to almost get unstaggered, but there's just such a barrage of abilities before finally a decimation of a kill. Power play is now coming to life here. Gordo, it's looking quite difficult here. No matter what you get in these drafts, it just seems like S.A.D.B.O.I.S has your number.
Absolutely here. They have been doing such a good job in this second game, showing why they picked the map. They have been executing consistently and incredibly deadly on this map so far, really being able to find themselves just repeated barriers continuously. This is the best Bunn Bunn's looked in a while here, as they were able to take both barriers early on, but will they be able to turn it into a scoring opportunity? It's hard to have faith after how these last couple of rounds have gone. Bell's coming back on out there. So much damage on this Zentaro. Will be able to take the barrier. Will be able to send it into the goal. And it is another point to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. This has got to be like 5-6 in a row now.
It's, I believe, the 7th goal in a row, as I believe both rounds prior were 3-0 sweeps. So you've really, really got to lock in here for Bunn Bunn Bonanza, but it's so difficult when, even if you play at your best, sometimes these players on the S.A.D.B.O.I.S just look like they are in a different league. Time and time again in NASL, they have shown their prowess. It feels like no matter who you are, who you think you might be, it just feels like sometimes they will get the better of you no matter who you are. And here they are showing a dominant performance. Scyther 12 and Liari both extremely low. This team is going to have to dig deep and find something to overpower these Titans, as their barrier is now down once more.
What a maneuver from Vaughn there, just using the expanse to be able to find the barrier into a strike from himself to get the second. Does it on his own there. Another KO already coming through. You Already Lose. Nowhere near the goal arc at this stage. It will fly past him, and it does cause a barrier to end up going on through. There's going to be plenty of chances to be able to come on up with the score, and there is a final one from Vaughn. One more point could send the S.A.D.B.O.I.S up to the winner's side final.
That's a place you would certainly like to be at this stage in the playoffs. That said, they're not out yet. There's still plenty of opportunity to turn this around, but they're going to have to find those opportunities and make them into miracles. That said, the first barrier goes down, so there is that potential, but You Already Lose, making excellent use of that hook so far this game to deny the midfielder or the forward the opportunity to collapse on that attempt. But finally, the net is open, but it looks like it might be turning around.
Absolutely here. Look at all of this damage coming on towards the barriers, and Bells just sends it in. Lilybun not able to fend it away. Another 3-0 set to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, and they will move on to that winner's side final. Such a dominant showing to kick on off the playoffs here. Bunn Bunn Bonanza drops to the lower bracket.
Such a tough team to fight, especially this early on in the playoffs. They are just such a dominant force in this game, in NASL. Time and time again, they've shown their prowess, but at the end of the day, you have to fight them eventually, so if that's the performance they're showing this early into playoffs, I am terrified for their opponents later on in the bracket once they've had that time to warm up and create a new set of plans to just show their mastery time and time again. That said, Bunn Bunn Bonanza certainly did not play poorly. They were just a bit overpowered here by the force that is the S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
Absolutely were, and wow, oh wow, does it look like the S.A.D.B.O.I.S are cooking as they kick on off their NASL playoffs run. Such a good performance in this second one. We're getting word here. That is the first 9-0 in NASL playoffs history. The most dominant we've ever seen a team look in a playoffs round at all, let alone a first playoffs round. And it goes to the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They are absolutely cooking right now.